Time Warner Cable is pleased to be an underwriting sponsor for Carolina Week.
Coming up on the March 30th edition of Carolina Week.
I'm Nick King. The Tar Heels are back in the Final Four, but just making it to Detroit won't be enough for their fans.
I'm Kate Howard. I'll show you why some Carolina students went homeless for a night.
In sports, call it the luck of the toe. The Heels' win against Oklahoma was one of their most complete efforts of the year.
Dan McKinney will tell us if it's going to be cool as we move into April.
All that and Carolina fever in full force.
Carolina Week starts right now.
From the James F. Goodman Studio in the School of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, connecting campus and community, this is Carolina Week.
The Heels are headed to the Motor City as their quest for the national title continues. Hello, I'm Bethany Tuggle.
And I'm Chris Neal. Thanks for joining us. It's UNC's 18th trip to the Final Four, more than any other program in the country. Nick King was in Memphis for the regional final game against the Sooners. He joins us now in the newsroom. And Nick, I'll bet the Tar Heel fans who made the trip were pretty ecstatic about the outcome.
Chris, the atmosphere was electric. The Tar Heel fans were going nuts from the moment they arrived in town, and they're hungry for more. Memphis, Tennessee, the home of the blues and the birthplace of rock and roll. And for one weekend, home to the NCAA Tournament South Regional semifinals and finals. The NCAA would be hard-pressed to find a more fan-friendly location.
It's something to experience. If you're not here, you need to be here.
Before the games, fans flocked to famous Beale Street, where they're free to drink a beer on the street and support their teams as proudly as they know how.
The passion builds in you, you know? Hate Duke, love North Carolina, that's where you are.
The Beale Street here is awesome. The stadium's right downtown, the bar streets close off traffic, right on campus here, so it's a great location for the tournament so far.
Carolina blue is the most commonly seen color, thanks in large part to the contingent of Tyler Hansbrough followers from all across Missouri.
He's definitely captivated the entire town, and everybody loves him.
Come tip-off time, the FedEx Forum is conveniently only half a block away. Win or lose, fans make their way back to Beale Street at night. For Tar Heel fans, it's time to celebrate.
Because we're a Tyler Hansbrough fan, woo!
Nights finally wind down about 3 a.m., and it's no surprise that Tar Heel fans enjoyed their stay.
It's awesome.
It's great.
A lot of fun.
Really love it. Love to come back.
Because in Memphis, there's no black, no white, just the blues. Carolina blue, that is. The Tar Heels certainly had an advantage in terms of fan support.
Nick, have you ever seen a player with a bigger following than Tyler Hansbrough?
Chris, he was certainly a big hit in Memphis, playing only about 100 miles from his hometown. But if Ty Lawson keeps playing the way he has, he'll be able to run for governor.
All right, that's Nick King starting us off live in the newsroom. Thanks, Nick.
Following yesterday's victory, many fans went to their favorite spot to celebrate, Franklin Street. Fans both young and old came out to show their support for the Heels, cheering and screaming as law enforcement officers looked on, keeping the streets safe. And the reaction to the game, a big thumbs up. Though wet conditions kept some fans from going downtown, those who made it out for the game left with little doubt as to who's number one.
I think we're the best team in America. I don't think there's any question as to who's going to win the national championship.
Late last night, fans were able to welcome home the Heels in person as they returned from Memphis as the South Regional champions.
There's a lot of fear on campus because of the budget cuts caused by the state's revenue shortfalls. Students and faculty came together against the way Chancellor Holden Thorpe and the Board of Trustees at UNC are handling the problem. They're worried about cuts to salaries and programs.
In this financial crisis, instead of cutting money from the people who can really afford it, they're cutting it from the lowest paid workers.
So my wife and I already donated more than 5% of our salary to the Employee Assistance Fund. I don't have the ability to reduce my or anyone else's salaries under the state law, but we expect temporary salary reductions.
Low-wage workers are afraid they'll bear the biggest burden from the state's budget shortfall.
An attempted armed robbery in the Granville Towers parking lot has sparked fears of increased crime. Police have arrested Michael Damian Cartwright in connection to this robbery and another the same night. In both cases, the victims weren't hurt. UNC student Netta Avraham Katz was in the parking lot with a friend and believes the robber only wanted to take their purses. Katz thinks students need to be more aware of their surroundings.
Honestly, in the Granville parking lot, I wasn't aware of what was going on. I didn't think anything would ever happen to me there.
Students at Granville can now ask for an escort out to their cars after dark, and Katz said she'd also like to see a more visible security presence on campus.
Recent statistics show that nearly 3.5 million Americans are homeless. Reporter Kate Howard tells us about some Carolina students who now know what it's like not to have a roof over their heads.
Sign in, choose a box, and let the magic begin. Student groups, groups of friends, and individuals gathered in the pit to raise money for the Community Empowerment Fund, a local microfinance initiative for the homeless. Megan Pritchard coordinated her group's Box Out plan.
Box Out to me is just an opportunity for everyone to understand a little bit more about what homelessness is like, especially since, tonight it's so rainy.
To make their cottages more comfortable, Tar Heels brought chalk, paint, streamers, and a sense of humor. Even with the NCAA tournament games going on, many students assembled around a makeshift stage to listen to the words of a speakers panel.
I don't ever remember not having a warm enough coat or not getting enough to eat. I probably didn't have everything I wanted growing up, but we had everything that we needed.
The National Alliance on Homelessness estimates by 2010 we're going to have another 1.5 million people homeless.
It's just past 4 a.m. here in the pit, and many students are sound asleep in their covered, boxed villages. But as you can see, several students decided to brave the weather and take the Box Out experience to a different level. Bryson Proctor was having trouble sleeping. He's participated in Box Out multiple times.
The best part was the speakers that they brought in from Washington, D.C. and around the area, listening to their stories of the various reasons of why people are homeless.
Box Out co-chair Katie Barnes was excited about their achievements. The event raised more than $5,000.
A little less than 200 actually spent the night, so even with the game, it was very successful.
In Chapel Hill, I'm Kate Howard, Carolina Week.
44% of homeless people actually have jobs, but that income just isn't enough.
Many of us go to the library only to check out books.
But after the break, we'll show you some new library services people are checking out.
Where's the whole week? There's no whole week. Hey, excuse me? Excuse me, sir. Something wrong? Yeah, there's something wrong. You want to get me some whole wheat? Oh, come on. Hey, hey, amigo. Hey, I asked you for whole wheat bread. This is not what I wanted. El Guido.
Sorry for the confusion.
You know, that's the problem with these people. If you want to serve Americans, you got to learn to speak the language. You know what I'm saying?
No, sir. I don't. Enjoy your lunch.
Imagine the power of one voice. Click freedomcenter.org to find yours.
Escucha Smokey antes de tratar.
Solo tú.
No juegues con fósforos, no juegues con fuego. No hay nada pero un pobre conejo asustado a un pobre ratón sin casa en que vivir. Si un hermoso bosque es lo que deseas, no juegues con fósforos, no juegues con fuego.
Solo tú puedes prevenir los fuegos forestales.
¡Fuego!
Chapel Hill, Carrboro, and Durham Public Libraries are teaming up with UNC graduate students to teach computer literacy in their communities. Nika Kenyova tells us more.
Terry Tyson is learning basic computer skills along with new immigrants, retired people, and town employees. She spent the past 12 years taking care of her family. Now she wants to get back into the workforce.
We didn't grow up like my kids had computers since they were babies, but
When we were in college, there were no computer courses, so we're having to do a little catch up.
Now, even the simplest jobs require some computer literacy. If you want to work at Walmart, you'll have to fill out the application online. Those who lack such basic computer skills are cut out of the job market. Especially in today's economy, it's hard to believe there's such a thing as a free lunch. But we found out that local libraries are teaching computer skills at no cost. Classes range in size from 2 to 30 students. The setting is informal and non-threatening. Instructors give individual attention to each student.
So you get a lot of wonderful feedback. You get a lot of thank yous. I've gotten hugs. People have baked us things.
Chapel Hill residents are working on their technical skills in order to keep their jobs, to stay competitive, or to find new work after being laid off. Job searching and resume writing classes are part of the curriculum, and these classes fill up fast.
This kind of offering sort of gives you a little courage to get back into the workforce.
Courage and confidence are two fringe benefits of the program. In Chapel Hill, I'm Nika Kinyova, Carolina Week.
All you have to do to take part in the classes is show up. Many of us are so used to surfing the net at home and at school, we forget what it's like not to have easy access to a computer. Access could be more difficult for some Carrboro residents if the Cybrary closes. The Orange County Public Library is moving to a new building, and closing this computer library might be a way to finance the move. Cybrary supporters have started a Facebook page in favor of keeping the library open. They say cutting library services is a bad idea in hard economic times when more people need access to resources.
New technology like video phones, site speed, and Skype allow us to keep in touch with family and friends abroad. Carolina Week's Mackenzie Harris used the technology to speak with one of our own halfway around the globe.
UNC alum and Army Major Chad Carroll is in Iraq. He's been there since June.
Really, the story of my deployment this time is how much better the Iraqi Army and the Iraqi police are than they were.
Carroll is a public affairs officer working with reporters, his soldiers, and the Iraqi media. He says he's seen quite a difference in media involvement since the war started.
Well, there has been a great decline in U.S. media interest. I mean, the Iraq War has entered its 7th year now. You've slowly seen U.S. journalists trickle away.
He says 2/3 of his work is with Iraqi media, and his studies at UNC prepared him for how to deal with not only Western media, but how to deal with host nation media as well.
So really what I'm doing now is living my thesis. It's almost like I studied it, got my head around everything. Now I'm actually living it firsthand, and that's just been a great experience.
But Carroll isn't thinking only about his job.
We've absolutely gotten into March Madness. If I find out somebody is rooting for LSU or another team that we're going to beat here pretty soon, then I certainly let them know about it. I just want to wish the Total basketball team lots of luck. I think we'll do great.
In Chapel Hill,
let's go Tar Heels!
Tar Heels, bring home the title, baby. Woo! Tar Heels, baby!
I'm Mackenzie Harris, Carolina Week.
Major Carroll is scheduled to come home in June, and like the rest of us, he hopes to see a new national championship banner hanging in the Ding Dome when he gets back. And this past couple days, it's really started to look like spring.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but I think it's about time, and now we're joined by weathercaster Dan McKinney to tell us more.
Yeah, spring weather has been around, and it looks like it'll be sticking around for at least the next few days. Today was absolutely beautiful. People were across campus taking jogs, taking walks, or even standing in line. But just how much longer will this nice weather last? I'll let you know right after the break.
Pants, pants, pants. I am folding the pants. The pants are long. Do they go on my head? Do they? Do the pants go on my head? No. They go on.
Everyday moments can become teaching moments because learning starts long before school does. Give your child the start they need at bornlearning.org.
Awaken your creativity. Do your thing at the Art School at the Art Center in Carborough.
What is that thing?
Looks like somebody's double chin. Must have lost it snacking on fruits and vegetables.
Somebody's gonna trip on that.
Welcome back to Carolina Week. I'm forecaster Dan McKimmey with your weather plans for the week ahead. Well, after a rough start to the month of March, we're going to end on a calm note. If you remember, all the way back at the beginning, we had a snowstorm across the area, but we're going to be talking about sunshine and normal temperatures also, as we're going to expect temperatures around the upper 60s for most of the next coming days. But the rain's going to return as well by about midweek into the start of April. If we take a look at that satellite and radar, we can see that most of the action's actually out towards the Midwest. Places like Nebraska and South Dakota are actually seeing blizzard-like conditions. Some of those areas are going to see over a foot of snow out there. We're not talking about snow around here, though, and if we take a closer look towards the southeast, we can see there's some clouds in the western Carolinas and also some clouds off towards the Gulf Coast, but none of these clouds are producing any sort of rain, and it's going to stay like that for at least the next couple of days. And if we take a look at the next graph, you can see this is what we call the jet stream, and the jet stream is a narrow band of winds that kind of divides the cold air from the warm air. And you can see that the cold air is kind of down here in Nebraska and South Dakota where they're seeing all that snow. And the jet stream actually rises up towards the eastern part of the country, and that leaves us in very mild weather. Although it is kind of starting to get wet down in Texas, we'll see that beginning to shift this way. And if we take a look at the current surface map, we can see that there's a high pressure currently located over there right now, and the cold front that was over us during the weekend that brought us all those showers is continuing to push off across the Atlantic. Now, what's different about this cold front is because it's in the south, it's not in the north, and if we see high pressures off to the north, that generally tends to bring colder weather to our region. However, since it's in the south, we'll see the clockwise motion bring some warm air to our region and also some milder temperatures. As we go into Tuesday, we'll see the showers return across the Midwest. And then as we go into Wednesday, we'll see the showers return across the Carolinas. You'll definitely want to have your rain jacket with you on Wednesday, as it definitely looks like we'll stand a chance to see some showers. Now, for your Tuesday, if you're going to be heading out anywhere, your day planner looks like this. Around midnight tonight, we're going to see temperatures around 48 degrees. But as you go to tomorrow morning around sunrise, we're going to see temperatures right around the 41 degree mark. It's going to be a little chilly, so you definitely want to have your jacket with you. But as we go towards the afternoon, we'll see the temperatures rebound to about 60 degrees, and then by the time we reach the late afternoon, we're talking about temperatures around 67. And you'll notice throughout the whole day that the clouds will also be increasing as well, so we're going to see that rain begin to creep in slowly Tuesday. If we take a look at that 4-day forecast, we can see that across the board, Wednesday is going to be the rainiest day of the week, with temperatures in the mid to upper 60s across most of the day, or most of the week, with Friday being the warmest day, around 70. Overnight lows will be around 50, so it's going to be a very mild week, something we haven't seen for a while.
Yeah, I guess 70s look a little bit better, but I'm ready for 80, 85.
Yeah, I don't think we'll be seeing that for quite some time.
Well, thanks, Dan.
Thanks, Dan. The Moorhead Cain Foundation is giving $400,000 to the university to create the Eve Marie Carson Carolina Scholarship. Eve was a Moorhead scholar from Athens, Georgia, and this 4-year merit scholarship will attract a top out-of-state student to UNC each year. That will increase the number of merit-based scholarships, one of Chancellor Thorpe's main goals. The foundation is also pledging $30,000 to the Eve Marie Carson Junior Year Scholarship.
We're hoping that a student like Eve, who might be thinking of other opportunities, will find this a compelling reason to come to the university.
And now we're joined by sportscaster Jason Kahn.
Jason, big news this weekend.
Absolutely.
We've definitely got some student athletes earning their scholarships this year.
Absolutely. Can you believe it? Everybody believe it, that we have 100 NCAA tournament victories, and hopefully we can add a couple more next week. Coming up in sports, the men's basketball team is back from Memphis. But the guys aren't making themselves feel at home just yet.
Mother taught me. She's
averaging 18%, balance the budget, increasing clouds for...
TV. Your remote stops here.
My name's Lisa, and in 9 years I'll be an alcoholic.
Hi, Lisa.
I'll start drinking in 8th grade. And I'll do some things I don't really want to do. So by the time my parents talk to me about it, alcohol won't be my only problem.
Kids who drink before age 15 are 5 times more likely to have alcohol problems when they're adults. So start talking before they start drinking.
My parents won't believe it could happen to me.
These kids are in trouble. They're not getting high on drugs or stealing. If they were, you'd do something about it right now. But why is it almost half of all parents who suspect their child has a problem learning wait a year or more before getting help? Why? Kids with learning disabilities are smart. They just learn differently. Call now. The sooner you get help, the better the chance your kid has.
Welcome to Carolina Week Sports. It's a great place to be today. I'm Jason Kahn. Carolina now has more NCAA tournament victories and more Final Four appearances than any other basketball program. Here's a look back at the Heels' most recent step on the road to a championship.
We were happy. It's almost like a relief still. We did it last year, but we're just glad to be back and have another chance.
Bobby Fraser and the Tar Heels showed on Sunday against Oklahoma why they deserve that chance. The Heels quickly jump out to a 13-2 lead on this Ty Lawson jumper, and the Heels maintain that cushion throughout. Ty Lawson's toe seems fine, and let's declare that Danny Green's out of his slump, but Green won't take all the credit for the win.
I think our success defensively had a lot to do with it. I mean, I think our defensive rotations and how we played defense against Gonzaga, carried over to this game, and I think we played even better defense.
And Green's on the money. The defense, which came up with several turnovers, held the Sooners to 23 first-half points and 60 for the game. Lawson dropped a team-high 19, elevating the Heels to the 72-60 win. Deion Thompson made some big-time contributions, finishing with 10 points. He says the team has to look ahead.
It's a big-time feeling to have, so now we just kind of got to put this behind us real quickly and get prepared for Villanova, I believe it is, and when practice comes, be ready to have a really intense practice.
The Heels were 51% from the field. They'll have to continue that shooting streak against a guard-oriented Villanova team. The number 3-seeded Wildcats snuck past number 1-seed Pittsburgh at the buzzer. Tyler Hansbrough, who the Sooners held to 8 points, is ready for the next challenge.
It's great to be back in this position. I mean, this is what we worked for all year, to get to the Final Four, and we'll see what happens. We definitely have to play. Villanova's a great team, and we'll see what happens.
Defense was a theme in the locker room, and Wayne Ellington says that's going to be the team's focus in Detroit.
Like I keep saying, defense is what's going to win the championship. So, for us to be able to do it here, we got to continue to do it.
The national semifinal against Villanova is Saturday at 8:45. Franklin Street should be hopping. Now, while most Tar Heel fans have been focused on the men's basketball team, the football team broke out the helmets for UNC's spring showcase on Saturday. A rainy weekend couldn't stop these diehard fans from making it out to Kenan Stadium, and Coach Butch Davis showed his appreciation.
Thank you for the support. We look forward to seeing you next fall.
And the Heels gave fans a preview of what they can expect in the fall as receivers Dwight Jones and Josh Adams showed they're ready to step up as weapons for quarterback TJ Yates. The game was very physical, and even extending to those on the sideline. Of course, that was our cameraman, Phil Mitchell. Despite the physicality, the team remembers what the showcase is really all about, the future Tar Heels. In baseball, the number 8 Virginia Cavaliers came to town this weekend. Friday night's game saw the Heels rally back with a big-time play from Mike Cavassini. The center fielder's clutch 2-run triple in the bottom of the 8th inning, his first hit of the game, lifted the Heels past the Wahoos. Saturday's game featured rainy weather and a Tar Heel team that couldn't quite get it together. Simple mistakes and solid defense by Virginia proved to be the difference for the Cavaliers. Dustin Ackley hit his 6th home run of the season for the Tar Heels, but they fell short 5-2. The Heels changed their tune on Sunday, bringing aggressive defense. Watch Kyle Seeger grab this ground ball and fling it to first for Virginia out. The Wahoos tied the Heels in the 9th with a 2-run homer to right. The Heels needed to finish strong in the last inning. You can call it luck if you like. Watch as Ryan Grapel steps up to the plate and gets hit by a pitch. Unbelievable. The bases were loaded, bringing in Ackley for a score, giving the Heels the win 6-5. Now, after downing the Eagles in a doubleheader Saturday, the softball Heels took on Boston College in the final game of the series Sunday afternoon. Danielle Spalding struck out 8 batters in 3 hitless innings for the Heels. Not only was the pitching solid, Carolina's bats were on fire as the Heels recorded 12 hits in only 4 innings. Lisa Norris replaced Spalding in the 4th and finished out the remaining 2 frames, allowing only 1 hit, striking out 2 batters on pitches like this one. The Heels went on to win their 10th straight game. We're not worthy, 8-0. The 12th-ranked men's lacrosse team hosted number 6 Johns Hopkins in an epic showdown Saturday. In the second period, Gavin Petraka's goal gave the Heels a 4-2 lead. A Johns Hopkins player would counter with a goal from his knees to knot the game at 7. Now in the second half, the rain did not stop Billy Bitter from putting the Heels up by 1. The Blue Jays' goal in the 4th quarter tied the game at 9 and forced overtime. In the extra session, Billy Bitter connected with Sean Delaney, who fired a laser in to give the Heels a 10-9 victory. On Saturday, Chelsea Parks got the Lady Heels off to a quick start, connecting on this penalty shot against Boston College. Then Jen Russell set up Kristen Carr with a beautiful spin move to give Carolina a 4-1 lead. The Heels defeat the Golden Eagles 12-8 to improve to 3-0 in ECC play, their best start in 11 years. The Tar Heel men's tennis team took on back-to-back ACC opponents this weekend, starting with Maryland on Friday. The Terps struggled to return Carolina's serves all afternoon, allowing the Heels to set the pace early, and the strong play continued as Clay Donato and Taylor Fogelman both won easily. Andrew Crone finished off his opponent with this shot as the Heels went on to win 7-0. UNC continued to play well Sunday against Boston College. Donato and Fogelman won in doubles play to spark the Heels to another 7-0 victory. And guys, just out of our basketball program, we just learned that Tyler Hansbrough has been named AP All-American for the first team, and this is for the 3rd year in a row that he's done that, and also Ty Lawson has been named to the 2nd team.
Wow, that's great. Thanks so much, Jason.
Appreciate it, Jason.
You don't have to be in Detroit to cheer the Heels to victory this weekend.
But some Carolina fans do need something special when the games are on.
What's wrong, Mrs. Jenkins? Come on, you can tell me.
Well, there's no funding for the new reading program, and I've tried everything and nothing works. It's not fair. Nobody ever gives me funding.
When adults run out of ideas, they can feel as frustrated as kids. ConnectForKids.org has thousands of resources for helping kids in your community.
Mrs. Jenkins, holding your breath is not going to get you any more funding.
ConnectForKids.org, guidance for grown-ups.
If you have a story idea, contact Carolina Week at 843-8292. You can also visit us online at carolinaweek.org. If you have questions about this program, write Carolina Week at Campus Box 3365, UNCCH, Chapel Hill, North Carolina, 27599.
Most of us won't be able to make the trip to Detroit for the Final Four.
But Walter Storholt tells us there are plenty of places to cheer on the Tar Heels right here.
This is Timeout Sports Bar, where a local radio station turns down the sound of the TVs and blasts the sound of the radio play-by-play. Students and community members come out in full force to watch every Carolina tournament game. During the Elite Eight game against Oklahoma, I asked Carolina fans to finish the statement, "I can't watch a Carolina game without..."
running my mouth and screaming my head off.
All of my good friends and some good food to go along with it.
You can't watch a Carolina game without turning down the sound for Woody on the radio.
Can't watch a Carolina game without screaming for Tyler Hansbrough.
I can't watch a Carolina game without Carolina Blue and my best friends.
Family.
My pride. I can't watch a Carolina game without wearing my Carolina gear and drinking beer and eating food. Really greasy food.
My wife. Because she's the biggest Carolina fan other than myself.
I can't watch a Carolina game without cheering.
That does it for this edition of Carolina Week.
Thanks so much for watching.